Welcome to this evening's live, and it's called There's Still Time to Start. And I was sort of, when I was connecting into the collective, the higher self collective, about what I should be starting this talk off with, kind of midway through June. They wanted me to remind you that there's still time to start, and some of this is to do with how we think as humans. We think, oh, if I haven't started, we think about, if we're going to start a diet, I'll start on Monday, or I'm going to start a new habit on Monday. I'm going to set my New Year's resolutions at the beginning of January. And if I miss that window, then I'm too late. Some people apply it to age. If I haven't become an overnight success by 35, then I've missed the boat and life is passing me by. And it's just such an ego led thought that is actually meant to sabotage your progress. And so, what your teams want me to remind you of is that there is still time to start. So, what does that actually look like? I'm just going to try again on my phone and see if I. Oh, here we go. I can see myself now. So, say hello if you're joining me. I can see two of you have joined me. So, say hello so I can see who you are. One of the things I always talk about, and if you look on my website on the home page, it says, what is energetics every day? It is the alignment of energy plus action, which equals energetics every day. Equals the outcome that you're seeking. What is the outcome you're seeking? You're seeking an outcome where you get to live a life that you love with someone you love, or it doesn't have to be a person you love. You could love being single and having lots of dogs and cats and guinea pigs and goats and horses and donkeys, for all I know. But it's a life that's you love, right? It's about having prosperity, experiencing prosperity. We all have times when money feels tight, and you look at your bank balance and you think, God, I've got too much month for my bank, from a balance. And so, but it's about understanding that if we align our energy to the outcome of more income, it can flow through if we then take aligned action as well. So what I wanted to do today, so I'm going to just see if I can see what's causing my yeah, I can. Let me just stop the binging and bonging from a group call. That's my phone. Sorry. Right, hopefully that'll stop it all binging and bonging and distracting me. So, what I wanted to know from you guys today is there something that at the beginning of the year that you thought, oh, I really want to see a change in this, or I really want to do this thing? It might be learn a new skill, a new language, get a new job. It could be you wanted to change your working situation so you're working fully remote or hybrid. Was there a goal that you wanted, or to create a change that could be health related, it could be relationship status? What is it that you want to change that you're feeling like you haven't actually achieved that as yet? Because if we can talk about those real life examples, it will help everybody in the group. The other thing I just wanted to talk about was, I kind of wanted to use myself, like I often do in my examples, of how things work, and how, when you trust what your higher self and aligned energy looks like, how quickly and how directly they can take you to the solution you want. That doesn't mean that the path is easy. Sometimes the path can feel quite uncomfortable, but and I'll give you a couple of examples along that line as well. But I wanted to share the commitments I made, and I'm sharing behind me my own commitments board. So if I go back to the end of December last year, I was thinking about New Year's resolutions, and I wanted to think about what was the change I really wanted to make. And I was really trying not to think of it just as a New Year thing, but rather as a change, a more permanent change that I could create for myself. And so, as I've said before in this group, it came up with health and wealth, health and my business. So, health was I wanted to transform my health. I've been trying to be healthy and lose weight for many, many years, and I have succeeded in the main. I'm 57 and pretty in pretty good health actually. When I do blood tests and stuff, I'm in quite good shape. And then business was I wanted to transform my business to experience it in a way that I've never experienced it. And that doesn't mean I haven't been successful in my business. I have, but I'm in a different phase of my life where I can really commit to my business in a new way. And so those were the two goals I had. And when I connected with Athalia and felt into my inner being, so my soul, and I was like, these are the two big changes I want to make. I want a sign that I'm on the right thing, on the right path. And almost instantly, I got this inner warmth literally spreading out. I'm just going to move so you can see, kind of spreading out like this across my chest. And it was such a beautiful feeling of this feels really right. This feels really good. Okay. And so it's been a feeling that has helped me stay on track for the last 6 months. So if I break down what's been happening, let's take health first of all. So interestingly, what happened was with health, at the end of last year, I was actually diagnosed as being really anemic. And I found that really astonishing because I've been guided to go vegetarian. And actually, the quickest, most efficient way to sort out my anemia was, apart from iron supplements, which didn't really get on with, was to actually start eating red meat again. And so that's what I did. And very rapidly, that got resolved. And then that sort of created a real change in my eating pattern. So I used to do intermittent fasting and be vegetarian, and now I was eating 3 meals a day with a lot of protein rich food. But I noticed that my snacking had begun to reduce. I was fuller for longer because of the protein and the fiber. And I was generally feeling happier about food. Now, food for me has always been, I've had food anxiety and food noise, but I've also used food as a way to make myself feel better in the past. And although I've done loads of work on myself over the years, occasionally I would still get really triggered. And I had some patterns of behavior that weren't really serving me. And so one of the things that has happened between January and now is my eating habits have really changed. And I've also noticed that in general, my appetite is less and I feel fuller for longer. So I was really quite pleased with that. But one of the things I also wanted to do was be fitter and feel stronger and more flexible in my body. And so what happened was, through one of my lovely clients, I actually heard about somatic exercise. And so I've begun to incorporate somatic exercise in my daily routine. And prior to that, I had already started doing twice a day a 15-minute Pilates routine. I've done lots of Pilates classes, and I was allowing my body to guide me in the kind of movement it wanted. So it wasn't just do any old routine, it was very specific. Like in the morning, it wanted a lot more shoulder movement, get my arms and my limbs moving generally, and a lot of full body twists. At night, and it was always literally the last 15 minutes before I went to bed, I did a lot of releasing the spine kind of work, so, and loosening the hips type of work. And I allowed my body to guide me through this. This then led to the somatic exercise. And if you don't know much about somatic exercise is about treating the body to allow it to release the emotions it's stored. So if you've experienced trauma in your life and you have experienced challenging situations that have triggered your cortisol levels and your adrenaline levels, and you struggle to lose weight, then somatic exercise could be something that is appropriate for you. Obviously, if you have other aches and pains, please speak to a specialist beforehand. I am not a specialist in these areas. I'm just telling you what my journey has been like. So with the somatic exercise, what was happening is I was beginning to release from my cells this stored emotion, and I was beginning to notice how much I appreciated my body and how much it has been holding for me so that I didn't have to keep re experiencing the anxiety, the distress, the sorrow, the grief, etc. It's been holding it in my body for me. And so through somatic exercise, I've begun to gradually start to let that go. And then there was my weight issue. And so one of the things I sort of had done some research about was because, as I said earlier, I changed my eating habits, but I wasn't really losing any weight. And I found this really odd. And when I connected in, it was almost like my body had forgotten how do you lose weight. And because for a long time, I've been overweight for a really long time. So, yes, I can walk for a while, I can exercise, but it wasn't, there's too much cortisol in my cells for it to allow it to start to release the weight. And so when I connected into my team, they were showing me the GLP-1 injections. Now, it's, I mean, I was interested, but I can't say I leapt on that as a solution because I wasn't sure about, how healthy it is. You hear horror stories. But interestingly, over the last few months, what I've been noticing is that, especially in the last 2 months, is I've been noticing how my body has been showing me what it would be like to be on the GLP-1 medication. And interestingly, I've lost a little bit of weight. And I was like, oh, this is quite interesting, curious, more curiosity, more investigation. And in that curiosity and in that inquiry and investigation, what I'm doing is seeing if I can align my energy to it, right? I'm not taking any action at this point. All I'm doing is research. All I'm doing is watching maybe people's experiences of it, reading in, magazines or whatever, watching podcasts or listening to podcasts where people are talking about GLP-1s and why they're good for you and why they're not good for you, understanding how it might benefit me. And this is why aligned, when you have an intention, you have to take aligned action is really important, because if I had just leapt straight onto the GLP-1 injections and not um, aligned my energy and my cells to that possibility, it's possible that I could have had some really big side effects. You do hear of people having horrible side effects from it. So over the last 6 months, what's been happening is my energy has been flowing constantly towards this goal of I want to be healthier. And over the last 6 months, it has sometimes come to the fore and sometimes it's retreated. Then it's come to the fore again and it's come to retreat. And what I've really come to understand is how connected my two goals are. I was fortunate enough to be gifted a healing session with a colleague, which I had recently. And as she was working on the cortisol levels in my body, two things became really apparent to both of us. One is that the work she was helping me do, and if I go on the GLP-1s injections, it will really benefit my business. But two, it was also really interesting was how aligned my body now felt to the GLP-1s, right? So I wanted to just kind of show you a real life example of how important it is to spend the time to align your energy towards the goal you want, and not just assume, oh, that's my intention and everything will work out. I don't want you to assume that. What I want you to know is that you will be guided through the process, and people will be, sorry, not people, your higher self will be helping you to find the best route possible. Now, I'm not advocating my way of losing weight. I'm just saying for my energy and where I am on my health journey, this is one possible outcome that I could pursue if I decide that I want to do that, because my energy now is aligned. And if I take the action, my body can lose the weight with more ease. That in turn helps me then kind of take up other goals, such as getting fitter, going to the gym, going swimming, whatever it is I want to do in order to get fitter. So that's on one side, that's been happening with one goal. And then with the second goal, what's been really interesting, which was to create a business of my dreams. Okay. And when I was kind of thinking about that, I was like, what does that mean? Create a business of my dreams? Because it was more than just income. And what it comes out to is I want to, for me, having the business of my dreams is a business that really makes me feel abundant. And I've talked about abundance with to do with the abundance challenge. When you the higher self abundance challenge, abundance is a state of being. Abundance is when you're flowing in good, when you know without any doubt that the opportunities will drop in, that the possibilities of exploration, of finding new clients, of working with interesting people, of getting new ideas, of things that can help your clients, they all kind of drop in really, really easily. And so I've been guided over the last 6 months to sort of take various bits of action. Now, some I've found really hard. And resisted for a while. And it's taken me 2 or 3 months to sort of align to them. And one of those things, for example, is to go live on Instagram. For whatever reason, I found that really intimidating. But having come off my holiday, I have set myself the goal to go 30 days, Monday, well, for 5 days a week, for the next 30 days, to go live every day and put something up with my face and my voice on it. Because I can feel that when I do that, I'll attract a bigger audience. Has it been easy to align to that? No, it has not. I have had to really kind of be patient with my energy and myself and kind of go, okay, still not ready to do this. I know I need to do it, but I need to be ready to do this. And so I'm just going to keep aligning. I'm just going to keep flowing with ease. And I'm going to keep asking for inspiration. And so what my team did was they kept showing me really simple reels that other people were doing. And as I was watching them, I was like, oh, I think I could do that. That didn't look so hard. And so that's how they helped me align. They kept showing me examples of things that I can do, that I probably do already, but they were on social media. And so what's been happening is that I've only just started this, but I've already attracted new followers on TikTok and on Instagram. And so I can see that that's going to give me encouragement and that's going to keep working. So that's one side of things. And then with the other side of things with work, it's like it took me a little while to kind of create products such as the month-long, the 21-day energetics everyday accelerator, or the abundance challenge with your higher self, or the painting with your higher self. These are products that took me a while to create because they had to feel really good to me. The energy of my business is called Joyful Freedom. So if those things don't feel like joyful freedom to me, they're not aligned to my energy. So I had to create things that felt really good to me, that also served you, my clients, but also created a change that would feel good to me and to you. Because all my work, all the time I'm telling you to connect to your higher self, it is because I want you to be empowered to create the change that you want. So that's why it took me a little while. And it's not that I have settled on those and that's it forever. They will evolve as I evolve, as you evolve, as the needs of my community that I'm building evolve. They'll evolve too, right? But as a starting place, it's a good place to be. And when I think about the upcoming workshop on Saturday or the upcoming challenge that starts on the 30th, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what changes come about for the people on it. I'm excited to see how I can help people, how I can help them empower themselves to be more of who they are, and for them to flow in a state of abundance. Because the more of us that flow in abundance, the more of us feel good. And in feeling good, we call others to join us and say, come and feel good with me. You don't need to be over there where it's miserable. Come and make a choice. Come over here. It will be good to you, right? So I wanted to talk about those two things just so you could see how in action how these things work. And if you have any questions about anything I've said so far, put them in the comments and I will reply to them. Here we go. Hang on, I've got some comments which were not showing up. Hey, Danny. Hey, Kerry. Oh, how nice. You're taking your son's girlfriend to a horse riding lesson. That's very nice of you, Danny. Okay, so the other thing I just wanted to talk about is sometimes your team will take you through a change to get from point A to point B because it is, and they'll take you in the most direct way possible, but that may not be the most comfortable route, but it will be the quickest route, right? So an example would be, supposing you're asking for a change in your work situation, and sometimes what they'll do is they will really ramp up the discomfort that you're experiencing. And the reason for that is because I asked about this was, as humans, as physical people, we don't respond or react quickly when things are going well. We don't tend to take action. But when things are not going well for us and we're feeling uncomfortable, we're feeling that discomfort, that's when we tend to move, right? That's when we tend to take action. So sometimes so that's one example. Another example would be, supposing you live somewhere and actually your energy is no longer aligned to it. What can happen is it can lead to either really antisocial neighbors or a breakup of a relationship. And it's because at some level you're wanting freedom and you're wanting change, but because you're not acting, they're going to ramp up the discomfort in order for you to do it. Now, you might get quite cross listening to me, but understand this, that they have an overview and they're going, okay, you want to go from point A to point B. What is the most direct route we can take you rather than meandering around and it taking forever, right? And so that's the way they work. So if you are trying to create a change for yourself and you are making a commitment to that change, understand that your teams will leap into action and they will work with you to help create it. Now, the last thing I just wanted to share with you guys is my board behind me. Now, one thing I decided to do, I'm just going to move you a bit closer so you can see it, is I decided not to call it a vision board. It's my make it happen board or my commitment board. Okay. It has a really different energy to it. A make it happen board. It feels much more determined to me and it feels like we're going to do this. Whereas a vision board to me is like nebulous and it's an idea of what I want to create. I didn't want that. For me, and this is important for you to understand because each of you will be different. For some of you, the words the make it happen board will feel very pressurized and very challenging. For others of you, vision board or dream board will feel just beautiful and easy and soft and but but powerful as well. For me, it didn't work, right? So that's the first thing, right? We want to set the energy of the board that you're using. So I've just got a really large pin board. I basically took images and I've put words to them. So if you look in the middle, it says health and wealthy with my photo, right? And underneath it, you probably can't say it, but it says decide, commit, focus, succeed, right? So for me, that really goes alongside with that make it happen, right, in 2025 board. I've also given myself a reminder by saying I'm brave, I'm worthy, I am persistent, I'm actually very tenacious, I'm proud of myself, and I am successful. And I put those on there because sometimes when things feel like they're not moving or they feel like they're not going in the right direction, you need a reminder. You need a reminder that everything you want is going to happen because of your unique qualities. So for me, it was those words. So if you decide you want to do a commitment board or a vision board, I want you really to think about what affirmations would really help you. Above that in the corner is love, and then to the left of the picture of me is just a statement saying I will have I have a wildly successful business called Energetics every day. The blue stripy thing is called Rivers of Wealth, and I have got little sayings such as love for me first, everything I do is loving, shine for your 5%. So, you know, if there are 8 billion people plus on the in the world, you're not going to serve every person, right? If you're in business or whatever, your maybe audience maybe 5% of those people. So that's why it's shine for 5%. You don't have to shine for the whole world, you can just shine for 5%. And then I've got in the bottom left, it says I am rich in love, money, and talent, right? And someone actually looked at it and said to me, "Oh, that's a bit boastful." And I was like, "No, it's not. I'm just acknowledging that I'm rich in these things because I am a human, I'm a physical human, I have an amazing team. So I'm rich in those things, right?" So, but you need to find images and words, and some of you will have them on your phone, some of you will want to put your families on there, but for me, this year, 2025, was really about me making changes for myself. And I never recommend that you manifest for other people. It rarely works for other people because you do not know what other qualities there are. Hello, Gwen. Yes, sure. Um, oh, I'm really glad, Kerry, that it's good. Yeah, and you want to, when you're setting your board, Kerry, be really clear about what you're trying to achieve. So if, for example, you're someone who responds to the make it happen board, really connect in with your team and your higher self and go, okay, these are the things I really am just fed up of trying to change. Like I was fed up of every year thinking, okay, this is the year I'm going to lose my excess weight, or I was fed up of this is the year it's going to be my business. I was like, no, I'm going to bring a totally different energy of this, which is 100% commitment. That's what's called the Make It Happen board. Okay. So I want you to really connect into what is the real change you want to create in your life, and then kind of use the make it happen words in tandem with that. Okay. Um, they've also, I keep getting a nudge. So up here, it actually says laughing as well. And that's because I wanted to have fun with it. I don't want it to be super serious. I don't want it to be everything's got to be stern. I want it to be light. I want it to have be easy. I want it to, by easy I mean have ease. I want it to be moments of hilarity in it. You know, the type where you're clutching your stomach because you're laughing so hard. And then this bottom one here, which is the universe, show me today how good it can get. This is about trying to open up the energy, right? And instead of me going, I have all the answers and I know what to do, actually, what I'm saying to the universe is, I'm committed to these goals. Now show me how good it can get by just being brilliant. So you could also add in universe and higher self, which is what I would do. So for me, it'd be universe and Athalia. Show me how good it can get, please. Right? You can do something similar. So I want you, some of you might also like to do a check from the universe. Have you seen those? What's his name? The actor. Oh, his name. I can see his face and his name's gone out of my head. It'll come back to me in a minute. There's an actor in Hollywood who wrote a universal check to himself from the Bank of the Universe, $10 million, and he put a date on it. And he carried it around. Jim Carrey, that's it. Carried it around in his wallet. It got dog-eared and everything, but he got his first. At some point in his career, he'd segued from comedy into film, and I think a few years after carrying this check around everywhere and seeing it every day, he got offered a contract for a film for £10 million. Thank you, yeah, Jim Carrey. So some of you I'm getting will like that kind of thing as well. So in conclusion, before I go on to reading cards, what I really, really want to remind you guys is it's never too late to commit to a goal. Do not let anybody go, oh, it's the middle of the year. Oh, it's Friday. Oh, it's this. Oh, it doesn't matter. Start where you are. If you want to create a change, talk to your higher self, talk to your you. And if you don't know how to do those, talk to me about it and I'll help you with that. We've got some free resources that you can use, right? Start with today. Start with deciding, yeah, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of being skint. I've had enough of not finding the right person. I've had enough of not feeling healthy. I've had enough of not being the kind of person who I want to be and I believe I can be. And then get ready for the ride. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. So that's what I really wanted to talk to you today about. Okay, any questions for this, do put them under the thread and I'll answer them as and when I can. Sending you all lots of love. Thank you for your comments and for joining me tonight. And I will see you all soon. Take care.